Good evening, good afternoon, good night, good morning, good luck, good riddance, no guarantees, no refunds. It's the start of something new, something fresh here in the Michael Johnson TV studio. I feel like we're coming out of the closet as a streamer somehow, as a creative person, multi-interested creative person. Um, and there's something about being on YouTube tonight that's cool, exciting. I feel like I just jumped on a ride. So I got to, it's not that I'm going to be a bit more proper, but maybe I will be, but more organized, more systematic, actually. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to jump into my LogSeq window. And I used to stream like this as I need to go to screen two. Yeah, so it's a work in progress. This is an experiment. And is there a chat? And of course, we always want to like check the stream health. So excellent connection. This is great. Excellent connection. Let's add that to the log here of what happened tonight. Don't need that. Just go like this. Boom. Excellent connection. Have that indented. And then anyway, we're getting. I'm looking at something you're not. I'm not even got to engage with the audience. So hey, we're gonna jump into the LogSeq window now, and I'm also gonna record a little thing while we do that. So cool. This is the LogSeq window. So here we are in LogSeq, folks. This is LogSeq. It's LOGSEQ, and it's a software for organizing notes, ideas, references. There's a whiteboard functionality. It's a thinking environment. And this is related to many threads out there about building a second brain, the Tiago Forte's book, course, community, many things there, and all the different softwares that people use for this type of thing. Evernote, Obsidian, LogSeq, Roam, Notion, OneNote, which I use in the workplace because we're a Microsoft organization. So the particular one that I use in my, let's call this my business. Did I just call Michael Johnson TV a business? I did, folks. So we have to mark the stream somehow. I wanted to learn how to do that, how to mark highlights. Can I do this on the top right? Flag somewhere? No. I'm in the stream health analytics window of anyway YouTube, but we're going to leave YouTube for the moment. We don't need it. We're going to come back here. So we're going to do a message now to the LogSeq community of how I organize a live stream. Hey to the log, we're going to record this segment at the same time. Hey to the LogSeq community, Michael Johnson TV. I'm streaming live on YouTube, and at the beginning of the stream, I like to show my LogSeq page that I make for the stream. And so come along with me, and I'll show you my workflow. So here's how I start. I have a template that is for the stream, and tonight is the stream, and I've put the link in here, and I will populate the rest of this metadata later in the evening. And my basic template has an announcement. So here is what I cooked up. And it's just bullet points. This is what I love. Just thinking simply, structuring things in the outliner of LogSeq is part of what I love about LogSeq. It's just, and I know you can do that in other softwares, of course. There's outline mode in Microsoft Word, but it's just very friendly, I find, in LogSeq. So that's just a little love note for the LogSeq developers. And so I make my announcement. Hey, folks, I might go live. I have a few things I'd like to share, an adventure today, and some trippy slow-mo videos from yesterday, including a geeky deep dive into slow-mo video, variable frame rates, FFmpeg, and DaVinci Resolve. That's my announcement that I put on Twitter and on Facebook and on my personal Discord channel server. I have a Discord server, michaeljohnson.tv, and I'd like to build this into like a community Interested in generative graphics, slow-mo video, creating beautiful slow-mo videos. And this is the snippet of slow-mo video wonder butteriness that I'm going to be sharing like until your head explodes a bit later. So imagine this thing is flowing and I'm looking at the visuals and we're going to create stuff around that. This is on the Lachine Canal in the old industrial part of Montreal. That's now a nice calm waterway with nice bike lanes and walking and stuff. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This is so that's what I do here is the announcement. And then what I do is I just actually just copy this whole thing, Control C, and then I paste it into Discord, I paste it into Facebook. The image doesn't exactly copy, but that's okay. I just come back here and then I just copy image here. Copy image, copied, and then I paste that in Facebook. So or in Discord. So it's like actually a nice way to just keep it light. So you do the thing here once, and then paste it into the places where it needs to go. So that's the announcement. And then I do a brainstorm of the episode, and I've intentionally for the stream tonight, and I got this trick from Dario, Dario, dear Dario, with the LogSeek videos, and check out his channel. I'll try to remember what his channel is, put it in the description. Hashtag check the description. Everyone knows Dario in the LogSeek world, though, so I love that. So this is I've been building this up slowly, which is cool. We're getting ahead of ourselves, though. So this is I would do a brainstorm here, and I will undo these as I go through the stream. I'm not going to show everything right now. So when I start this page from the template, this stuff is blank. And then I have a log. So boom, okay, 1906. I posted to Facebook, Twitter, Michael Johnson, Creative Work Hour. Boom, decided to go at 8:12. Here's like I did 5 minute test working on the brainstorm. I can kind of track my time. Actually, I don't need to have any kind of an app that like optimizes my time or like calculates stuff. I mean, sure, we could build that up later. You know, you could use the timestamp at the beginning of a block compared to the next block to like use natural language processing and put this task that you just completed into some sort of a box and then make statistics on it. I mean, there's an idea for like a plugin, so hashtag idea for a plugin. But I love to just make a log of what I'm doing. So this is great. And then at the end, I'll paste in here, I'll paste in the audio transcript typically, and then I'll use slash whisper. And I like to make code blocks just for like to show, and then you can copy the code block. This has been a real game changer for me also. So that's how I sort of manage this. And then I might, as I go through things, I might actually do slash done, slash make tasks of this brainstorm. So that's just an intro on how I use Logseek for like live stream sort of production studio. So take care. Toodaloo. We're still streaming, by the way. So this is really how I want to use the stream more and more is, and we're going to see about going back and forth. Just we're going to take a stretch. Yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to work because we got to be organized too. You got to have a good, a good time, a good flow going. So that's what we got to do. And we're doing it. So that was a message for the LogSeek community. And what I'd like to do with that is like offload it to an editor. But that editor's like me essentially now. So I should just go back to the stream and make a log here that I made a message to LogSeek and make a page for that message. Right? Make a page for the message. So let's go back to LogSeek. This is all about, okay, we recorded. And we give this, and then we give this thing a name. Using LogSeek for live streaming. And this is under workflow in the namespace workflow. Huh? LogSeek for live streaming. And we're going to check our OBS and under videos. So here we go, this one. And what I'd like to have is a kind of a workflow where the boom, once I've hit stop recording on OBS, it creates this file. Maybe I can automatically remux them. That's for another time. So let's just rename this. And let's name it as the same as here, logseek for live streaming. There we go. And we can get rid of the timestamp also, perhaps. We just edit this. For now, we can change the template later. Yeah. Cool. So these are old ones. They should go into a archive. Okay, so today, and I just leave a log to myself of what happened on this live stream. So today, recorded. That means the status for this should be like recorded. It means it's in the editing bucket. So we need a status. Recorded. And it's a message for logseek. So message to logseek. Yeah, that's fine. Under the workflow hierarchy. Okay. Now back to the stream. Where were we? Yeah, recorded this. Next in the log. Was that in the brainstorm? No, it wasn't. Okay, we're going to go back to the brainstorm now. But should I keep an agenda, or is the log kind of like the agenda? This is actually what I'm doing now. So I don't know about all this reference business in logseek sometimes. It confuses me, but I thought this might be a neat way to do it. So here we are. This is a shout out to Greg Cloud One. Here, let me show you Greg Cloud One. This is Greg, and I know Greg through a particular community that's called the Creative Work Hour. And I wanted to acknowledge Greg. It's through Greg. It's the inspiration from being with Greg that led me to make what I feel is a kind of a new step here in my creative expression, which is to be live streaming this on YouTube. And as I say that, I'm like, oh, is anyone watching? Of course. But this is kind of part of the spirit of the creative work hour, is like putting stuff out there. And like, I don't give a rat's ass if no one's there. I'm here to create, and I'm going to openly share what I'm up to, what I'm creating. That's kind of the spirit of this, is like, welcome to the studio, welcome to the workshop, and like big tables of stuff, blueprints, and there's just sort of a team just buzzing around there. That's kind of what I want to create here. That's the vision I have for this, for myself, for live streaming here. And Greg's been an inspiration to me. 17 days ago, he said, I'm going for it. Made a new commitment to do this thing every day, and has been doing it. So it's good content too, about ADHD, traumatic brain injury, health insurance, transportation, Greg's journey, and Greg's wisdom. So check out gregscloud.com. A minute in the clouds with Greg. So I love to be in the clouds with Greg. Check it out. I wanted to mark that as a message to the community, which I did not record. So okay, then we can go here and we can kind of say like /done. Okay. Yeah, so like I was saying, I'm coming out of the shadows. Like I'm coming out of the shadows of Twitch. I was like, would I send my parents to go see me on Twitch? You know, my father. I don't know. Like, there's so much weird stuff. Weird. It's a bit, it's countercultural, outside of the norm. I don't know. These are all potentially just value judgments. So as we fade back, let's fade back. I got the trippy visuals. This is Touch Designer. My random lines simulation. No, just it's just random lines that are in digital graphical space, right? Although you could create this with light sticks that were on mechanical like movement, and there's something interesting there about combining the digital and the mechanical. Minute in the Clouds with Greg. Just going to check the health of the stream, and the stream looks healthy. Okay, good. Excuse me, pardon the interruption. Was just checking the stream, checking all that. So what's next on the list here? Slow motion videos. Yeah, so let's go back to LogSeek. Slow mo videos. I went on an adventure yesterday. And, well, anyway, I don't, let's just, hey, there we are. We're sharing our screen. Let me set this up so that I have more space for myself, perhaps? No. That seems to be the maximum, and that's okay. I can hide this stuff. And no, when I'm in studio mode, I can't move this thing around, but I could move this around if necessary. Okay. Sorry. I warned you. This is experimental. We're experimental here. Experimental, mental. Okay, so this was my adventure today, but we're gonna do that a bit later. Oh, these are also in inbox. Okay, yeah. So, we're gonna filter here. Metadata, no text, slow mo, slow dash mo, slow. What? Okay. These are all slow mo. Up to here. Sorry, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little import here, media import, which I didn't do the other day, but I did on my iPhone, but I hadn't done on Lightroom. So lesson to myself on the workflow side is the phone is like a good way to filter stuff, that photos. Unless you're like, next week I'm going to be doing this photo vacation. Photo safari, vacances photo safari. Vacances photo from Serge Froment, my dear mentor and teacher of photography here in Montreal, with photographie tout azimut, all azimuths, right? 360. It's kind of like, tout azimut is like 360 degree, essentially. So I just realized that now. But let's just go through this because we're going to reject some of them. But what I wanted to show you specifically, let's jump to something really just fun that I wanted to show you. So this is slow-mo. Sorry, you're hearing noise. Let me turn that down a little bit. I should have a VLC playlist, I just realized. That might be interesting, but that's okay. We don't really need that. We need to have shortcuts ready. So, like, I'd like to be able to, if I just press enter, yeah, it's just going to open. There we go. There's this. So here's the thing, right? There's kind of a railing here, and I'm like my phone's over the railing, and you can see at the bottom here, right? You can see at the bottom, and I'd like to be able to draw on the board right now if I had my Epic pen set up, but I don't have my Epic pen because I'm kind of, I don't know, why am I hesitant around Epic pen? Strange. I'd like to be able to draw right over the screen. We're going to try to boot up Epic pen. I don't even have it here. No, okay. Don't even have it here. Anyway, at the bottom here where this text is, there's a concrete, and my feet would probably just be poking out from there. And this is the Lachine Canal, so the water's coming back towards us and falling over this waterfall feature, because next to this is the locks there. And we should go back to Lightroom. Let's pause that. Back to Lightroom and show you a map here of where I was. This is the Lachine Canal here. Here, right? This is the old canal that used to be the industrial heart, really, of Montreal, and now, right, we have this seaway over here because there's rapids here. Let me zoom out here. Let's show you the island of Montreal. This can also be a geography thing here too, which is fine. This hand is not. Yeah, it's okay. Here's the island of Montreal, and right here's another island, Ile Bizarre, and then this is Laval. It's an island also. The city of Laval is also an island. There's a little island here, Ile des Sœurs, Nuns Island. There's these synthetic islands that were constructed islands, right? They extended this, built this with all of the detritus that they took from the metro. But where were we? We were here with 42 pictures. There we go. See, this is the locks on the Lachine Canal. Those structures there, right? They're gonna open up, and they balance the water because there's a rapid here. There's a flow. It goes down. There's a feature that causes this, and I took, as you can see, a bunch of pictures and videos all around here. So I started on this walkway, I went on this walkway, I went to the side looking this way, and no, we can't move this in 360 like we could on Google Earth. So we might open Google Earth now. Earth.google.com. Let's just open that in the background. Open now. It's like zooming me out and zooming me in. Okay. Here's Montreal, minus these like demerged areas. That's so funny. I got to show the political boundaries. Don't show me political boundaries anymore, okay? How can I hide those on layers somehow? Clean, no borders. Okay, that's gone. Thank goodness. Here's the canal. And there's a couple of locks along the way. There's one here. There's a bridge here. And I was a bit further upstream here. This is a bridge. It's not that good, the 360. Maybe I need it to be on the web, actually, just Google Maps. No, when it's incognito, I can't. You can't do that either. Okay, don't need this. Where was I? Here. Yeah. Right. Just rotating around. So there's a bridge. So I'm looking at this part first, looking at the light. The sun was coming from the right here, from the back, and that's what I was up to with this one. Just let yourself be mesmerized. Oh, heavens, heavens, heavens. It's kind of a Zen moment. I used to make these Zen shorts. Zen, a moment of Zen. So consider this like a moment of Zen. And just, I love to watch the particularly various features here. So maybe what I'll do is share with you the features that I like to look at here as we turn down the volume. Pause this. Actually, we should be in OneNote right now also. I know it's weird. I'm using OneNote as well as LogSeq, but honestly, I just need that. So I need a new section that's called Streams. And today is 2023-08-06. Here's what I'm up to. Making a screen here, dash stream, and this is going to be slow-mo. Copy this, paste it here, go full screen, zoom out a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to take this guy, the favorite tool, this thing, man, this thing, and I don't use it to its full extent. There's another program, Epic Pen, that you can set up with the shortcut keys. You press these keys, and then you start drawing directly on the screen. I typically go the others, a bit more steps involved in mine. It's not quite so dynamic as taking a screenshot with the snip and sketch. Windows Shift S is the shortcut for snipping the screen. So we draw a little Windows logo here. Windows Shift S. Snip and sketch. But that's not the subject of today's erase ink with a scribble. Select undo. Got it. Okay. So we're going to look at, and I'm going to use red maybe. Can you see red? Yeah, you can see red. Or white. You can, not really. Let's make a new one here. Like a gray, maybe. No, we're going to use nasty colors. What I'm looking at here, well, actually, what this is, there was a log here pointing up, right, stuck between a thing at the bottom and a thing at the top, and the water was just flowing over it, right? You can see this. So this is where the water comes. And I'm looking at these structures here, these features. And you could do kind of like an edge detect. You could do like a level detection here of these features, and you could sort of track them as you go down. And so I'll go back to VLC for a moment and then show you kind of like, just look like here and follow this one down. There it goes. And then take this one. There's two little wisps coming there and follow it down. And if you can, try to follow something here. Just look at the structures. And then if you look in behind here, you'll see a wavy line that's kind of flickering. Zoop, zoop, up, up. You can't really see it there, actually. But it's here. Maybe I missed it. There we go. this line along here. You can see it here, and you can just watch it wiggling in behind. Wiggling and waggling. Right, and there's a kind of a frequency of it. Boom, 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 as these shed. So if we put a line here and measured, right, these are like things that I'd like to do, like put a line here and then measure this signal versus time. This would be like, average, like brightness, B average, and here it's dark, on a sort of a slice. Or just on a, you'd start with like a small region. So you do like, the order of operations, order of magnitude. So first is going to be just like a square region. Then it's going to be like a line. And this is going to be versus time. And this is going to be, signal height versus, with, this is going to be brightness, right? So brightness versus time. Brightness versus time. It's going to be brightness versus position with time as a third axis, right? This is like two-dimensional. Well, no, one-dimensional. Time is just one-dimensional, but we're averaging over this and to make it into a line. And we're going to plot that intensity of that thing over time, and we're going to look for these features where it's going to go boom, 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 like this, and we're going to essentially measure the delta t between there, and we're going to estimate a frequency. And so there's many ways we could do this. And, then I'd add like Touch Designer is one image, or Python. You need some image, OpenCV or something like this, like OpenCV. Or you could probably use p5.js or processing. There's many, many ways to approach any problem, any creation that you want to make. And you can't see this because you're behind a little thing, so that's okay. We're gonna, anyway, just put this here. That's what we can do. Yeah, so those are a few ideas there. And I can whip one of these up pretty rapidly in Touch Designer. So let's just make a video for the Touch Designer community by opening a new Touch Designer window, and we'll go back and do our log. We'll add our log seek. We got 20 minutes left in the first, call it a sprint. I don't know. Do you want to call it a sprint? Let's call it a sprint. Yeah, call it a sprint. Oh, heavens. Why do I feel strange calling it a sprint? Pardon me. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get this ready in LogSeq, in Touch Designer, sorry. Oh, so yeah. So we're just going to bring in Touch Designer. And we're just going to start the tutorial within Touch Designer by hiding the palette and having our little node window. Just make this like this and just make this like top viewer. Yeah, okay, so let's go back to OBS. Sorry, a lot of windows open right now and it's messing me up a little bit. Let's go back to LogSeq. We're going to start the starting slow-mo touch designer segment. What are we calling it? It's under touch designer slash slow-mo waterfall frequency analysis. Okay. And then we copy this part. Save this in Touch Designer. Save. Typically, I save it under Assets, Touch Designer. I make a new folder, right? That's still in the clipboard, so that's easy to just cut and paste, copy and paste. Usually my computer freezes. There we go. Save. So, hey folks. Oh no, we're going to record. We're going to have our OneNote ready also, right? Or we're going to take a screenshot of this and just put it in LogSeq. Okay. Just going to clear this up a little bit. And with the eraser, we just erase this stuff. And then anyway, you can just take screenshots, bring them into LogSeq, and this will be the snippet for this idea. So what I want to do here is make a template. Um, there's a template for Touch Designer Project. So this is cool. Here's a snippet. This is what I want to do. Boom, added snippet. Then I make this should be log, and we go slash today. Slash time. Okay, so we're in Touch Designer. We're going to go here. We're going to have this maximized. Okay. Starting the recording now. So let's open this on the side. Go back to the journal. Go back to the stream. We want to add a timestamp. So recording. This one. Recording. Just here. Yeah. Okay. Hi to the Touch Designer community, michaeljohnson.tv here, and I want to just have a little play with this slow-mo video that I took, and I had a few ideas on how to process it and interrogate it using Touch Designer tonight, but of course there's a plethora, a wealth of different tools we can use, but this message is for the Touch Designer community. So this is a slow-mo video I've taken with my iPhone 12 Pro, whatever model, whatever camera's got slow-mo. I love slow-mo. Find water features like this, or fire, or spray, or wind, or grass moving, or anything with like turbulence. I love these kind of visual effects, and I love to play with them in Touch Designer, and I'm learning as I go, and I want to share that with you. So what I'm looking at here really is the kind of these features. There's a certain frequency to the shedding of these sort of features, and then they grow, and then they sort of explode as they go down, right? So, and there's a sort of different line features that you can follow here. There's a lot of visual features, and I want to use Touch Designer to kind of interrogate this and come up with some plots and understand a little bit the physics and the sort of frequency dynamics of this system. So let's hop over to that's my logseek window that I'm using to work on this stuff. So here's a little screenshot that I took within OneNote. I take a little screenshot and then I use my pen tablet. This thing is an invaluable piece of my workflow, recommended for everyone. But I haven't used Logseek Whiteboard, but this is not a message for the Logseek community. This is a message for the Touch Designer community. So what I want to do is kind of, in the first order of analysis, is take a small square of the image and plot the sort of brightness averaged over the whatever 4 by 4, 16 by 16, whatever. You can that'll set the sort of noise and all this stuff. But do a small square at the beginning and take the average brightness and then turn that into a chop, and I'll get into the doing the nodes a little bit later. So call this like the pseudocode, just the vision, the one pager, the simple idea, what I want to do. And then as you go, you can build it up, right? So we start with one little square, and I'm curious to have one aligned if there's a particular pattern to the shedding of these, if they're fixed in the X direction or what. So we'll pick a square and we'll measure the brightness over time. Then we want to do some sort of frequency analysis. What's the frequency of that? Maybe make it audio reactive. You know what I mean? Certain structures then would drive like music, and that's another tutorial for another time. And there's many tutorials available on YouTube regarding Touch Designer, and I recommend one that's Electronaut. So got to make a link in the description, but I got to remind myself. That's okay. We're recording, so I'll remind myself to put that in the description. I just paused the recording so that I can go back to Logseek here and put a note in there. Let me go back. Hashtag we're back. So what I want to do is build up this simple network in Touch Designer, measuring the brightness and plotting it versus time. And then in the next iteration, we can make that into a long rectangle, add up, bucket it in columns, and splice it up into a certain spatial resolution also. You could imagine taking it across, let's say from this log here where it's more regular, measure a rectangle there, and you'll have spots that are coming down. And I have a tutorial on this on actually how to make music with that, and the link is in the description. It's a one that does icicles. I just paused the recording again so I can come back to Logseek, and this is fun actually. But now it's recording. It's still recording? I don't understand why it somehow stops recording. Why is it stopping recording? Is there like a keyword or something that's going on here? Recording. Stop recording. I'm testing OBS to see why it's unpausing the recording. Anyway, that's strange. Okay. We're going to jump back into Touch Designer now. We're ready to go back to Touch Designer. Okay, welcome back to Touch Designer. So I'm going to I'm going to go for it. You're going to watch me do this live. Oh boy. And what I've done here is change this into a top viewer just to show the top. And let's go back to the network editor and close the background for now. So what we want to do, and I'll just actually, the next thing that I do typically in my workflow, actually is again, whoops, with the pen tablet. Going to take a snip, and we're going to just do some pseudo network code type of simulation thing here. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking, right? You want to do basically a rectangle top that's going to just take a small square, right? And you might have white here. Let's go back to make this one white. Come on, this is annoying. Okay, why is it? Oh, whoops. Why is it not allowing me? Anyways, sorry, and we were recording, so we're back. Rectangle, and then you want to you need to convert it into a chop somewhere, and then we want to have a trail because we want to sort of plot it. That's the first thing we want to do. Trail there to visualize it, and then we probably also want to do like an FFT spectrum. And then what we could actually do is we're going to come up with a plot like this. And I have another tutorial, hashtag Bach Prelude, that actually does that. And I don't have an exactly tutorial on that. But link is in the description for a performance of my piano playing on a keyboard, making particles that uses this FFT spectrum tool. And we're just pausing the recording to add a note in logseq, link to Bach Prelude. Yeah, Touch Designer. I should make a page for that. Touch Designer / Bach Prelude. Made a new page. And then what we could also do is take this spectrum and then regenerate more visuals like particles, say particle systems here, other stuff. And then like you would take this together with this and you would composite this together. Composite. Maybe on the particles you have like a feedback loop, right, into the composite. And that's an idea there. That's kind of just a brainstorm. It's good to just take a moment and brainstorm about what you want to build, what you want to kind of have as an output. And my version 0 is just this top line here, really. Rectangle, sample, into a chop, into a trail. Merci, bonsoir. Thanks a lot, good night, as we'd say in French. Switching over to Touch Designer now. We take a rectangle top. The typical options for the rectangle top are over here. No, it's not rectangle. We want to just crop, I think, actually, or sample it within a rectangle. Okay, already, we're right. Rectangle just actually makes a rectangle, so that's not really what we want. I want to just I'm going to use crop. I don't know if crop is exactly the right way to do it, but essentially what we want to do here is, and you can go by pixels. Let's go by pixels. And let's just say we want to, we want to focus in on your area. Let's say I want to take this little area here. I'm just going to wing it here. Let's keep it on fraction. Okay. Whoops. I don't know how much is left here. We can see the info. Properties, info, 63 by 720. So 63, let's just reduce this by 1 pixel. 64. Okay, we want 64 by 64. Okay, really is that's what we want. Let's go by pixels. So we want to crop just this little area. So there's 720 vertically because I'm in a Touch Designer basic version. So 720 minus 64 is 656. So we want to go 328. I don't know. That's a good start. No. 720. No, from the bottom, maybe we want to go 328. Let's just play with it, see where we get to. I want this part here. So now we need to crop down from the top. Yeah, so it zooms in. All right, zooming in. Is it square? There's probably a way to do this that's easier, but hey, here we go. 64 by 60, so we reduce this by 4. Is that going to make it bigger or smaller? No. Info, 64 by 64. Okay, 64 by 64. Let's play it. Um, anyway, it's maybe a bit big, but and I'd like to know where it is on here, but I could probably make some sort of rectangle that would be at the same coordinates, right? You could take these parameters here, op, and do the whole Python expression, but we won't do that today. We want to change this to top to chop, and we want to somehow do a processing, or we want to analyze it first, probably. Analyze to just get one number out. Average. Yeah, okay, so no, this one, we don't want this. We want to, if you can, I want to instead connect this over to the chop. So I activated the viewer. No, that's not even necessary. Just click and drag it over here, and it's going to make that analyze 1. So now we have a chop that is RGB, and we can simply add up or just take R only. We only need R. We only need R. And then we want to make a trail, and we want to plot that. So now we're version 0 is done, right? So let's celebrate. This is what we do in the creative space, okay? We celebrate our accomplishment. We've done version 0. So we save it. And that's what we got. We got this trail here. So then we want to do some signal processing on top of this. And I was talking about that. We want to take a spectrum. Audio spectrum? No. Yeah, right. So this is, then we got to look at like sampling rates and like this whole thing. And because this video is only at 30 frames per second. So we want to just count. I want more space here. Bigger. Right, there's a certain frequency. Boom, 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 boom. I want a rolling window, kind of average FFT of this. Are there other ways to do it other than spectrum? Can I still do spectrum? Maybe I can. We need to normalize this though with like a DC offset. So I need like an average of this one, I think. Can I do a math chop maybe? Or an analyze? Let's do an analyze. See what we can analyze here. Function. Common. Over how much time does it operate? Time slice is off. Does it operate over this whole length here? What's the size of this one? Channels 1. There's 600 frames here. Is that related to the length of time? Yeah, 60 frames a second, 10 seconds. What's the X units on here? Anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. So I think we just need to. Those were some other threads that I thought I might go down. But there's some question marks for me still about what the units are on the X here of the audio spectrum. And do I need a super small FFT size? Probably. And I probably need to do something else. But maybe I'll look up this another time. There's 600 samples here, so what FFT size should I have here? It should be like n over 2. Okay, so there's a few threads here to pull on a bit later, but for now, that was super simple intro into how I'm taking the slow-mo video. First steps of the project. First step, simple project. Bring in a movie file in, crop it down to a small rectangle, 64 by 64, analyze it for full image, right? You can do full image, you can do rows, which will make a. This is how we would do the other one, is we would do it by columns, and then you would have data along. The size of this then would be 1. It would be 64 wide by 1 pixel. But right now I want scope at full image so that it just takes. This is 1 by 1. It's just one value every cook, every frame, 60 frames a second. So then we take a top to chop from analyze to a top to chop. And what we do here is we just take only the red because I've made it monochrome, or it's basically monochrome. I mean, I haven't made it specifically saturation down to 0, but it's basically monochrome into this value. And then I do a trail to visualize it. Then I wanted to do some extra analysis and get a frequency spectrum, but not sure how accurate this is going to be. And there we go. So I'll look into my other video and maybe I'll come back later with next level on the project. So thanks so much for tuning in to this Touch Designer little mini tutorial workflow. Take care. See you next time. michaeljohnson.tv. See ya. Bye. Okay, we stopped the recording. We stopped the rec on the water flow frequency analysis. This is the log for the stream. So this is done. Now, we did our Touch Designer segment, right? Slow-mo videos. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Now, we're going to take a small break because it's 1 hour, 7 minutes have gone by. We got to take our stretch. This is what we learn in the work hour, in the creative work hour. This is one of the lessons, and I'll share with you here some of the wisdom that I wrote down here on my little note card, which I just opened my inbox. Well, we could go through the inbox, or I can just share it with you right here and now. You know, I was inspired by another member of the Creative Work Hour crew. Oh dear, you can't see it. Well, that's what it looks like, and I'll read it to you now. I was inspired by another member of the Creative Work Hour crew that was at a lakeside, riverside sort of, shack, let's call it. There's various levels of sort of, complexity or, coveredness of accommodation, from like strict backpacking, like bivouac, super lightweight, up to like, okay, a mansion in the freaking forest, But everything's got like checklists. There's always a checklist, there's procedures to follow, and you write that stuff down on cards like this. And it said, like, before leaving cottage, close all water supply, make sure gas is closed, turn off this thing, turn off this door's closed and locked, all the sheets are away, vacuum, sweep. There's a whole like workflow, a whole process. So I was inspired by that to kind of share some thoughts on, for our creative work hour community. We meet 10 a.m. Eastern time, and I like to have a checklist for myself. So I propose this as a checklist before leaving creative work hour. And I didn't stop the recording until now. But anyway, okay, now we're going to record for CWH. No, we're not going to record this. We don't need to record. I'm just going to read it now. Before leaving creative work hour, acknowledge yourself for showing up. Leave a note for hashtag future self. Put away your tools. Wipe down your workspace. Take your stretch. Take your bow. Get on with your day. And what that means for us on this live stream is that we will take a short break. And I don't know why this thing says Mikey Mike 555. You're going to watch with me as we, whoops, no, we're going to fade back. You're seeing all the behind the scenes here. We don't want the live thing. We want the hang tight back soon-ish thing. So that's awesome. Actually, that's like 1 hour and 2 minutes after we started. So this is perfect. Tuning back now. See you in a moment. Okay, hey folks. Welcome back to the stream. And what's next? Well, I got my little snack, but I don't want to eat in front of you on the camera because that would be weird. But, hey, what do we got? What else? Whatever. It's all fine. Log seek logi or just screen 2. Back to screen 2. So, what did we do? We get to go through the log. I had an idea for a workflow. Comes on fast like a freight train, that red on-air light. Yay, stream is in excellent condition. Yay. Recorded a message for LogSeek community. Did my shout out. Was not recorded. Okay, that's fine. Slow-mo segment. Slow-mo touch designer project. And let's see what we did there. We recorded, right? Stop recording. Yeah. So at 2050 we recorded. Let's do that instead of putting it here. I'm learning how to log stuff in the thing also. So, can we mark these as done? I didn't do this, so let's cancel that. Cancelled. My love story with slow-mo. I'll share this. Here's I have a love affair with slow-mo. What can I say? This is a slow-mo video that I recorded, and you can see the shape of a ring light there. That's my ring light. And I have a diffuser material, so I put the ring light behind the diffuser material shining through this bottle. And I like to refill bottles because we buy soap in bulk in these like large big containers, these sort of cardboard box things with a large reservoir, plastic bag reservoir that's well sealed, that has a good mechanism. And so I just love to take slow-mo video. And this is part of my love affair with slow-mo video. And there's so many ideas of things I'd like to do with this, but we're out of time for the slow-mo segment. But I just wanted to share this. It's really cool. What I look at here, is that you can see these two lines here. Those are kind of that's like the air, a curtain of air that's getting entrained down into the liquid. It's an air, a round sort of air bubbles basically that get entrained from when the jet drops and hits the surface. The interaction of that jet and the surface tension, you can see the surface tension there. There's surface tension there. That's the sort of the angle of between the plastic and the liquid, and then between the liquid that's coming in vertically to the surface of the liquid. And so you can see at the bottom these bubbles get sort of shed, and you could measure a frequency there of that. And in retrospect, I would have liked to be lowering and moving my camera on a slide that would match the level of the free surface. But I didn't do that, so we'll do that next time maybe. Because I do refill these bottles fairly regularly, but it's just neat to watch until it gets to the top. So now I'm going to have my snack while this thing goes. Now you can see some of the structure of this interface line, the entrained air, or just there must be air. This must be air, this dark region here. Because basically it's the difference of refraction, the index of refraction. It's kind of like a Schlieren effect or a There's another word for that. I used to do these types of images in graduate school. This is why, like, it spoke to me that the visualization, scientific visualization, really speaks to me. And this is kind of like a home-based version of it with a phone and like some soap. So that's a kind of a home experiment that you can do. But yeah, look, like you see this big thing gets shed, right? These bubbles are basically sort of vortices that are shedding, and that air that's being entrained that's then going with some turbulence maybe, and getting shed and then becoming a bubble, and then the bubbles will start rising due to their buoyancy, and so you'll have smaller and smaller bubbles remaining at the bottom, right? The larger bubbles are going to rise faster, it appears, but there's also an entrainment effect, right? Some of the bubbles go up and then they'll get entrained back into the flow, and then they'll go shoot down. You saw some just got entrained and shot back down. Like this bubble kind of moved a bit. I'll just back up a little bit and you can see that again. All right, look at some of these bubbles here that are getting entrained and then getting shot out. Same here, there's bubbles moving downward close to the entrainment there. So cool. I'd like to do some speed ramping on this one. Um, so maybe we'll do that. But thanks for watching that. This goes on for a few more minutes. Basically, the big bubbles, go to the top. Wonder if I have this in my Lightroom. But let's go back to the stream. Oh, there's the link. How wonderful. Whoops. It's awfully loud. I'm sorry if it was too loud. This just came up on my. I was looking for this link. Our window, looking out at the balcony. Some icicles forming from the balcony above us. This is a kind of a tutorial that I wanted to actually get the link for. So let's link to it. Copy. Let's paste that into my log, right? Slow-mo. Icicles tutorial. Here's the tutorial. Boom. Actually, we should just make a page for that. Melting icicles creating gong sounds. Touch designer slash. Melting icicles gong sounds. Let's visit this page, maybe just on the right-hand side. Make it a template for a touch designer project. And tutorial link. What? Okay, so gong sounds. What I'd like to happen is that I could just say copy this link, but I can't do that right now. Copy link. Anyway, so there we go. Can I just copy this entity as a block or something? Like just this metadata. Anyways, link is here. I don't want the videos to show up, but they could. That's okay. So we got that. That was magical. That kind of showed up here. Um, what I do here What I do here is I do some image analysis on where these icicles fall, and then in the spectrum, and then I create sounds. I haven't worked out the frequencies exactly, but I create sounds with the gong, bell. In all of that happens in Touch Designer, but now I've what I do with these funny lines. Let me fade back here. These funny lines used to have music with them that was generated in VCV Rack, but we don't have that tonight. So I was just doing a YouTube here, but this sort of got in my way, which is good. So let's go like next, like no, maroon screen, red screen. I don't know what I want here. Go to my channel. What else am I looking for? Bach Prelude. Touch Designer Bach Prelude. Let's make this a project. Need to update the system there. What am I looking for? My music thing, videos, my little Touch Designer. This one, Audio Reactive. Share, copy, back here. There we go. Okay, so we're just filling in the holes here for that Touch Designer slow-mo frequency analysis. Go back to the stream. This is done. And energy sketch. We gonna do this one? I made a PowerPoint tonight. Here's the PowerPoint that I made. I got to make this circle a bit smaller because you can see the blue. But that's kind of nice to have blue behind me. Sure, why not? Whatever. We'll make it. No, this was just a placeholder. There's a blue circle behind my face here, just as a placeholder in my PowerPoint snippet. But I can just hide it when it comes time to actually, you know, record the episode. So if we've got PowerPoint, it's time to do the energy sketch. All right, so this is part of the momentum part of the system is like, oh, I don't feel like recording right now, right? If you watch any of these like YouTubers like Ali Abdal, so shout out to at Ali Abdal, and I love your system a way of thinking of YouTube, and it's been really, really valuable for me. Just building up slowly, but every week, like, posting every week and building my system. So I'm sharing this stuff about LogSeq, and this is kind of how I manage my system. And so, for example, part of the system is like, well, now's the time when you record. Like, I have an episode that I have the PowerPoint with the graphics. This is kind of my shtick. I have these graphics and I sketch on it in white ink on a black background, like I'm on a chalkboard, and then I talk about stuff in behind. Now, so I'm trying to open up my thing here, and let's just hide this or delete it or what? Can I hide stuff? Okay, so anyway, so part of it is having a system, and that means that this is my system. This is my log-seq second brain type of system. And on the stream, and here we are. What's next in the agenda? I did this. I did this. I did a slow-mo video section. Now it's time for the energy sketch, which is my weekly podcast uh, series. So now's the time to record it. And I have an episode. It's planned. I made the PowerPoint. There's my status. This is kind of my media manager. And I filter just on status. PPT means the PowerPoint is done and it's ready to record. So now we got to put on our recording hat, essentially. And a little bit of blue there. We're just going to scale it down just a touch. And there we go. So, well, actually, what I forgot to do was raise my desk when I came back from the pause, which is interesting. So, okay, so we're gonna just transition to the back soon. We're gonna raise our desk. So I don't want you to see me cranking the desk around and around, but hang tight, back soon. Okay, folks, back. So we're going to record the next energy sketch because this is how we roll. This is how we roll, people. People. Let's just go to screen 2. Let's fade back. We're going to be in LogSeek because we got. Let me show you my energy sketch page here, which is building up nicely. This is just a reminder to me of what my workflow should be. Essentially, we can minimize that, minimize this. Here's my log of episodes. This is what I love about LogSeek is that it's a log, and this is kind of another continuation of the message to LogSeek. So I've already done this. I don't need to do it again. Anyway, status, right? We got status, published, idea, PPT. PPT means PowerPoint is done. It's over to the studio now to be recorded. And then when it says recorded, then that's an inbox for the editor. And when it's edited, then that's the inbox for the social media communications person who's going to post it, make the LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter posts, make the thumbnails. There's the whole machinery also there. And right now, that's me doing everything because this is just a new channel and we're just building up the channel. And so I'm trying to keep that stuff as light as possible so it doesn't get me bogged down. I don't like to do a lot of editing. Sure, there's many tools, AI supported tools like Descript and Otter.ai, all this stuff that you can go and tweak, like the transcript and like add words and take out ums and ahs, and like, sure, you can do that, and I choose not to right now. And maybe in the future I might, who knows, but for now we're just building this thing up. Which was where I left off with the hashtag Ali Abdaal. Shout out to Ali Abdaal for the system of YouTube. The YouTube system. Step 1, get going. Just post one video a week. That's it. Like, just get going. Like, it's like set the bar super low. And we're going to talk about this in the energy sketch coming up. And then, so I'm still in step 1. I'm just enjoying step 1 and just seeing what emerges organically for me. And this whole system has emerged organically, in fact, these 30 episodes, and I'll be recording episode 31 tonight, and I have a bunch more in idea phase. So with all the thumbnails, like this is a system, a media management system that I've built up over the last 6 to 7 months since my first episode. Right here. That was my first episode. Transcript. So here's all the transcript. Final media, feedback to myself. So this is cool. I've built up this whole system, and I didn't start with all this table. I mean, this came in later. So anyway, we're going to record an episode that's here. Trade-off between time and perceived quality. So what I need to have is I want to have my script up here. Ideally, I'd have a camera, like this camera would be like right in the middle of my screen. So that, and they have these cameras now, but I don't have one yet. And I can also just put it there, but I haven't set that up yet, or I had it set up, but then I changed. So anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but this is the script and it's a bit too wide. So we're going to just sort of make it this way. And it's way too much text. Gotta just reduce it. So we have a script, but I don't always like follow the script, which is fine. I can just review the script a little bit. Maybe I need to clarify that I'm talking about, creative projects here, um, not necessarily like big energy engineering projects. Is my focus, the focus seems strange right now because I walked away and then, like, is it on auto? Is it focusing on me? Sometimes the focus just goes weird, it goes wonky. So I'm going to try to do something about that. By turning off autofocus and moving it back here. Okay. That looks better, huh? I look better now? Yeah, so folks, we're going to do the next energy sketch now. Right now. We're going to put this up. Okay, no, we're going to... How are we going to roll here? I need my script, don't I? No, I have my animations. Gonna tweak the animations a little bit. Animations, let's see the pane. I want to move, I want this to come in later. Sorry, I'm in my head, but that's okay. We're building up the graphics. I'm building up the story. I already built it up, but now I'm doing final tweaking, let's say. I'm going to put logseek down here, and I'm going to use it to just look at it, come back to OBS, pause the recording, back to logseek, and just go through the brainstormed ideas. Okay, so we've been streaming this whole time, of course. And I was sorry I was working in LogSeek there also. But what we're gonna do now is we're going to record and we're gonna pause the recording. And that's maybe a note to myself to look into like hotkeys with OBS and oh my God and all this stuff. And yeah, I think we're good for now. I think we're fine. Here we go. We're gonna rock it. Let me just adjust my ring light that's sort of reflecting off of the nearby wall. That's how the light's coming here. There's various ambient light around me. Let's just put this into LogSeek. The stream. Whoops, no. You want to open the stream, make a log in the stream. Ready to record. Trade-off between receive quality. Hey folks, it's Michael Johnson. Welcome to this week's Energy Sketch. Going to talk about a sort of personal, creative, energy-related topic today, and that's the trade-off between time and perceived quality. So, for any project, for any endeavor, it's going to so for any project, for any creative endeavor, we could measure, let's say, quality, and I put that in quotes. We could go into a whole host of episodes, and we may in the future about how do we measure quality in creative output. But let's measure quality versus time. And you could imagine that it goes like one of these asymptoting first order equations that you would solve in an early calculus differential equations course. Quality is the exponential of minus e to the minus t over tau. And tau is our time constant. And this equation asymptotes to 100% quality. It never really reaches, ever, 100%. There will always be an epsilon. And that's our first Zen lesson of this episode, which is related to an earlier episode that I spoke about taking these feathers. You have these ideas, you have these projects that you want to do. You pick a feather, and in your imagination, it looks magical and wow. And to you, that's like 100% quality, right? Like the if you had like unlimited money, time, resources, availability, all this stuff, you could create this incredibly beautiful thing, right? But then you got to bring that down to earth and start working on it. So often, right, we got to accept that we'll never reach that 100% quality, whatever that looks like. We're always striving for quality, but we should always also strive for, wellness and flow and, keeping our momentum going and being well, making a difference out there. So that's a little parentheses around how we measure quality, and remember that nothing will ever be perfect. So we measure quality versus time, and this is sort of like break the time into chunks, and that's this idea of time constants. And if you look at this curve, you can achieve about 63% of getting from like 0 to 1. You could get 63% of the way in one time constant, 63% of the way in the next time constant, bit by bit, but you'll never reach perfect, right? But that's the idea of the time constants. And, we can measure some variation, some level of quality on the vertical axis. So the first question to ask yourself, well, actually, there are two areas where we can have an influence, and there's a third that I'll get to a bit later after we get the rudiments down first. So first thing to ask yourself, how much time are you willing to spend on this task? Okay, we just paused the video. So I'm doing good. We're just looking at it. So we're here. How much time are you willing to spend? And I mentioned Oliver Berkman, and we'll measure it in time constants, like chunks. And I like to think of these time constants in the scope of a creative project to be sort of like work chunks, and you could think of that as like, well, 1 hour, or this sort of 25 minutes, this Pomodoro technique where you set a timer for 25 minutes, work on a chunk, timer goes off, oh, okay, you take a short break, you get up, you take your stretch, you reset your stuff, then you dive in for another thing. And you can think of that as a kind of a flow session. To my mind, those are kind of like how many chunks. That's how you should measure really your creative time that you're putting in, is how many chunks am I willing to spend on this thing. And remember, the second Zen lesson of this episode, thanks to Oliver Burkeman for his book 4,000 Weeks. So it's a reminder that roughly, in an order of magnitude, we'll all have roughly 4,000 weeks of, time on this planet. So that's how many time constants can you fit in there? You don't have unlimited time either. Remember that. Zen lesson number 2 of the episode. Thanks to Oliver Burkeman for his book, 4,000 Weeks. Links are in the description. This is fun. I'm enjoying this workflow, if the pause works and doesn't start unpausing again, which is always strange, but we're doing good. So the other one is, where's your bar? What metrics? It will never be perfect. Okay, we're going to continue on. The other factor to look at is, where are you setting the bar, right? In a creative project, what you want at the end, typically, although maybe you're just a collectioner and you want to just keep everything to yourself, but if you want your stuff that's going out into the world to touch people, to make a difference, to make the difference perhaps in the lives of people around you in your community, causes that you care about, loved ones, other things, where is your audience? Where are you expressing things out to? And where's the bar where, you measure when is it good enough to ship out? And there's a concept there of shipping stuff, right? So this is another metric really to measure, is the regularity, the cadence, the rhythm, the momentum that you have in shipping out packets of work. And so to regularly ship out packets, you need to sort of set a bar, a combination of a bar in the vertical axis and a time sort of sets kind of when you're like, okay, good enough to send out. And so it's important to be aware of the kind of diminishing returns. If you dig into something, keep going, trying to approach that asymptote. For some things, it's very important that we work out the nth decimal place, for like big infrastructure projects, all that stuff. Yes, we need to work out the fine details in a rigorous and robust way. Here I'm talking more about things like writing, ideas, sharing things with colleagues, videos like this, projects where you want to express things out in the world in a creative way. So you got to set your bar. And as an example on these episodes, to me, for myself, typically I've been setting the bar really, really low for myself. And maybe that's a little behind the scenes hint and snippet at sort of how I'm building up this series here, these episodes, is that every week I just commit to myself that there shalt be a video on Monday at 12:12 p.m. on youtube.com/@energysketch. And I give myself the freedom that I don't really care almost about the quality, not caring about the quality, because we make it light for ourselves. We make it easy to get in, to jump on the ride, make a quick video, send it out, get into the flow, get into the momentum, get on the ride. Which brings us to the other thread that I just mentioned, the sort of perceived quality. So it's very important, like, what are your metrics for quality? What does quality mean to you? What does it mean to the ones that you are sending that material to, who are going to do something with it in the next phase, perhaps, or your audience, your desired audience? So those are other things to consider there with not just getting hyper focused on one definition of quality and then digging more and more time to make that definition of quality, as fine as it can be while missing all the other definitions of quality. I mean, again, as an example on these episodes, there's the graphics, there's the story, there's me talking, there's the editing, there's the audio quality, there's so many quality things there. There's the time. You could measure, consistency as a part of the quality. So I've focused heavily on consistency and have made my bar low for the other stuff, quality, etc., even if I'm proud of the quality. And that's so that every week, depending on factors, right? Your metrics can evolve over time in the short term and in the long term in your life as you start to value different things. Okay, this is really fun because now I get to riff on more things. So I've talked about the asymptotic curve, two choices, the bar and the time, and then we're going to go into squeezing more. And I've talked about the examples and I've talked about everything else. So that's good. We're just going to do this one now. Which brings us now, we've covered the two bases. So now we've covered the two bases, which are how much time, how many time constants out of your 4,000 weeks on planet Earth do you want to really commit to this project? And where's your bar? What's your audience? What's your quality metrics? And when is it good enough to ship it out there, send it out into the world, express it out into the world? The next thing, once you've covered those two bases and really let yourself have an organic sort of sense of what that means for you specifically, then we can get into what we might call the more productivity related thing. So it's very dangerous. There's a million and one productivity hacks, ideas, apps, and it's easy to fall into the trap of like, no, I just need to get the next like app to like schedule my podcast and then I can start doing a podcast. Like, no, you just do a podcast now. You get your phone, you start recording, you hit publish. Like you have a podcast. Yeah. So this is kind of how I rolled at the beginning. But now, like I've built up slowly, like building up a system. And part of that is like having different hats, different buckets from ideas to making the PowerPoint to recording the video to editing it to publishing it on social media. And then it's out the door. And that's kind of the cycle. And managing that has been really valuable for me. So we can think of this productivity sort of bent a little bit as being like, let's get more from each time constant, each tau. We want our impact to be sort of magnified for each unit of time that we personally put in. And so how can we do that? Well, part of it is focus and flow is the first item that I've put there. And what I mean there is that for that time constant, for those 40 minutes, let's say, of focus time that you have, the deeper you can focus, the more you can be in flow, having the task be at the right challenge level, giving yourself a place to jump back into the project and really ride it. And I sort of like to take the image of like riding down not really a roller coaster, but like a water slide or like on a kayak, whitewater kayaking. You're like, okay, I'm on a ride. I'm just going for it, really in there, in the battle, working it through for those 40 minutes in a focused way and a flowing way. And then at the end, right, taking a rest, recharging, and then getting back for another time constant. So that's really focus and flow can maximize the benefits from each time constant. The next one is like having systems and having like an organized way to manage your projects. And so this is again, the spirit of that is not in a sort of a bad and a controlling way. It's just in order to give yourself an easy entry to get onto the slide, right? You have to have it managed well. So, you want to avoid as much as possible. Where did I put the link for that thing? Oh, is this on email? Is this shared here? Is this shared there? The more that we can have like robust systems where you can just, oh yeah, boom, find what you need, get back in the flow rapidly, then that's very valuable for maximizing the time constants. That means essentially minimizing the time constants or the portions of the time constant that goes to kind of waste, right? Eliminate waste within the time constants. And the third thing is get a team. Essentially, I mean, you can only do so much yourself as a solo actor in this project. And some projects are for solo actors, and some projects maybe start with an inspiration, like for these sketches, for example. I've bootstrapped this whole thing up, myself, from developing the concepts, the ideas, doing the research, doing the PowerPoint, recording it, editing it, publishing it, putting it on socials, getting it out there, all of that stuff. And what I'm, looking to develop is to sort of branch this out into a team. And then you can sort of be directing the team and then have people there that are doing research, that are doing editing. And then you can, get leverage on your contributions. You're still only, delivering a focused on that time constant, but there's then a team of people that are also delivering stuff on those time constants, aligned together with a purpose, with a vision. Then that's when things really start to get cranking over. I think we're done. So we're going to bring it to a close now. Okay, folks, thanks so much for tuning in to this week's Energy Sketch, the trade off between time and perceived quality. So remember, we can plot quality versus time over time constants. And the two key questions to ask are really, what are your values? What are your metrics? How are you measuring quality? And where's your bar? Where do you put the line of when a project or a piece of work is good enough to get sent out there into the machine, out there, expressed out in the world? The other thing is that, time is limited. We have only 4,000 weeks on this planet, roughly speaking. So, how many time constants are you going to put in to this piece of work, particularly, before you say, I've worked enough on it, got to send it out? And then once you've sort of grappled and organically come up with a framework for yourself around those two bars, where's your bar on the quality and where's your time commitment in time constants, then you can really start to focus in more on amplifying, leveraging and amplifying your focus time on each of those time constants through teamwork, through systems, and through focus and flow during those times. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope it was useful for you folks. Love to hear from you. Tune in next week, Monday, 12 p.m., youtube.com/at Energy Sketch. Thanks so much for tuning in. Toodaloo! And we've stopped the recording. So this is our log and time and rec. Whoop, rec. Okay, folks. Hey, this was cool. This was great. This was great. Let's bring back LogSeek up to the upper window here. And wow, I'm blown away. I'm flabbergasted. Wow, that worked really well. Let's go back to the log here. I'm just typing in the log. Wow, that worked really well. A great flow with pausing the recording and checking each segment overall from Brainstorm. That was great. That really worked nicely. So let's go back to our graphics here. Yeah, folks, that's wow, we got to rename this file. So going to do that now in videos at 2051, right? When did we start it? 2150. Whoa, hold on. 2150. Here, how long is that? 14 minutes. Oh my goodness. Okay. So we can do this, and we need our log seek trade-off. Trade-off. Okay, nice. I could bring you back to my window here so you can see behind the scenes. So that was, now we change the status, recorded. And tomorrow or whatever, I've got like a buffer also because this one's going to be episode number 31, 2023 0828, new page. Yeah, so that's like fantastic. Let's go back to the energy sketch. These are the episodes. Episode 31 is now recorded. There it is. This is amazing. This is really freaking awesome. Pardon me, I said an F word there. Um, pardon me, pardon me. So let's go back to the stream log. Okay, there we go. We have done, done, and that's done. No matched result. Okay, there we are on to the next thing in our stream, which was the adventure. Um, hmm. Oh man, there's lots to do here. We can leave this in the inbox for tonight because we've been going for 2 hours and 6 minutes. What time is it now? 22:10. Yeah, it's time for our stretch again. And it's probably bedtime because tomorrow's a work day. So, hence, we will end this stream, folks. Logi and graphics. Um, Thanks for tuning in. Even though there were 0 viewers, I think there were 0 viewers. I love that there's 0 viewers. Like, again, bar is low. The bar is low, right? Um, I feel like I just graduated from Twitch to YouTube. This thing will stay live, but I worry about the energy consumption actually of the data centers that host like 2 hour long live stream videos in an archive. Um, so I would prefer to trim it, at least trim it. Yeah. Let me fade back to logseek. We're going to give our final message now. Um, Feels like I graduated to YouTube from Twitch. Idea is to trim video, then re-upload. I want to be a good steward. There we go. So, wow. So what do we miss here in our thing? We didn't do the adventure. So that's for another stream. Yeah, well, we could just go quickly to Lightroom. Touch Designer here is done. We should close things as we go also. Boom. Save this. Save the energy sketch. Close that. OneNote. And Lightroom. Oh yeah, so I was showing you my adventures around these parts here, but that's for another time. But we'll leave you with um, the this one, or is it on VLC player still? Uh, there we go. Yeah. Enjoy the trippy visuals. We'll get more into more on this project in a future stream. So this was really cool. This was really, really, really fun. Just want to mute the volume there. Only I can hear it, but maybe you can hear it via the microphone and all that stuff. But folks, thank you so much for checking this out. And Well, toodles. See you next time. Your stream will